welcome everyone. Mike here, especially to those on the other side of the pond in Australia, where this show has been designed to go out to because of the time difference. Many of you in Australia would know me from the show that I did with Linda in Melbourne. It's 3 years ago now, and just to give you a bit of an update, I don't want to keep repeating myself because on yesterday's show I mentioned it also, but we decided to end the show because we kept getting pulled. For some reason our show was flagged and we kept through mid-show getting blocked, and it wasn't going out to anyone, and so it really became a case of we didn't have the resources, both emotionally and financially, to fight all this that was going on. So we figured, okay, it was a nice run, we'll call it a day there. So anyway, so Linda, if you're watching, just send me a hello or something like this. We're still very good friends, and we'll see, who knows what happens in the future. So that's the long and the short of it all. So this show is a little bit different. It's not a magazine program. It's purely a show about connecting with people in spirit. So text in if there's somebody you'd like us to connect with in spirit. There's no guarantee who will come through. We can't evoke anyone. Thank God we can't evoke anyone to come through. We just give the information on who comes through. And likewise, we don't have to accept anyone in the spirit world that's coming through. So it's a nice little safety net for all concerned. So yeah, text in and let's see who we can connect with. Also, if you've got a comment to make, please text in with your comment. And you know, we can throw a little discussion around, and even when the show's finished, or if you pick the show up when we've finished the show, you can still put some comments in. I just want to say also that the information that I'm going to give you today is channeled messages from Jean. About once every 3 weeks I do a channeled message from Jean, and I put it up there on the YouTube channel. So there should be a link at the bottom of the description of all the channeled messages that I've done. So if you click on that, then they'll all come up in one place, and then you can take your pick which one you want to listen to. If you're commenting, please feel free to comment, but you know, I ask, just be nice. If you've got something to say, be nice. If you've got nothing nice to say, don't say it. And if somebody does make a comment on something you've said and you disagree, this is life. People agree and disagree. So we can be generous and accept what they say, or we can disagree in a very nice way. You see, I've got this YouTube Telegram channel, actually, if I can find the link to put it up. Here we are. Société Jeanne d'Arc. It's at Telegram. And so anyone can join this group. It's a high vibe group. I usually the one that puts all the posts up, but you can comment there. And we keep it pretty much strictly towards information to do with Jeanne d'Arc and information to do with courageous people and so on and so forth. So it's a nice channel there for people who want inspiration, who are feeling a bit low and want to pick themselves up. They can also text in and comment in there. We're quite a small little group, but we're a good little group. I'm looking to expand it, but you know, with the right people, not numbers for the sake of numbers, which seems to be the big thing these days. So pop along if it's for you, just see what it is all about, and you might want to sign up and get these regular updates. Also, you get the channeled messages there first before it goes on YouTube. So once again, today's show is not a psychic show. In other words, we don't do boyfriend, girlfriend, career stuff here. We do evidential mediumship, proof of survival, so to speak. and we can see if we can connect with a loved one in spirit. So we're going to be talking today about a channeled message. Some 3 or 4 months ago, it was to do with karma and the true meaning of karma. And the thoughts that I'm giving you here today are coming from Jean. And then I've got just a couple of paragraphs, 4 paragraphs of an excerpt from that message about karma, just to wrap it all up and give you some kind of idea of what's going on. So remember, text in with comments, text in if we see we can connect with someone in spirit. So what are we doing here today with karma? Well, before I do that, let me tell you something. We made a documentary about 2 years ago now called I Am Jean. It's the story about the real Jeanne d'Arc and not this pop history that people, the school and all the other people talk to us about. This documentary is far more intriguing, actually, and far more romantic than history documents. I've actually reduced pretty much where it can be seen right now because the licensing agreement with some of the rented footage that I used is not really so clear cut as they say. So I've decided to pull it, and I'm starting to shoot some of my own footage so that we can put it out there for everyone to see. But that's about 3 months away. In the meantime, on YouTube, there's the audio version of the documentary that can be seen. So if you just go to the YouTube channel and go to the playlist, and you'll see one there that says audio, click on that. It's the only audio one that we got. And there you can listen to the audio version of the documentary I Am Jean. We've got another big project coming up. I'll tell you all about it closer to when we get there. So let's talk about karma and understanding karma. And the thing is this, what we've been taught about karma has really, it's something that's been designed to keep our understanding of karma into a narrow bandwidth of information. In this way, it's able to manipulate, control and direct us. And over the centuries, if we can call it, the darkness has been able to manipulate us into believing what karma really is. Actually, I would say even well-meaning people, spiritual gurus and spiritual speakers have fallen foul of this idea about karma. And you know, if you don't learn your lessons, you've got to go back onto the earth plane and relive your whole life again. Now let's just think about this logically. And again, this is coming from Jean, but I'm paraphrasing. This, to me, this idea that if you haven't learned your lessons on the earth plane, you've got to go back until you learn them, does not sound to me that it comes from an omnipotent, all-powerful, all-loving life force, the Mother, Father, God. This sounds like a very, very human concept designed to keep us in fear, because the Mother, Father, God is beyond these concepts of keeping people into that vibration. Whereas if you are a bad person and you haven't learned your lesson, you've got to go back until you learn your lesson. Well, okay, so let's look at that until we learn our lesson. How are we to know if we've learned our lesson if we have no reference point? We live our life. We live it good, we live it bad. We make the transition back home. If we're lucky, we go to the halls of learning where we're supported until our vibration is raised sufficiently so that we can remain in the fifth dimensional spirit world, or we go to the halls of healing, where again we can heal if we've been a bad boy, and heal is sufficient enough that our vibration can be sustained in that high vibrational environment. Otherwise, we have to go back, because that is where our vibration can be supported in the 3D world. It is nothing to do with learning lessons. As I said, if we don't know what errors we've made, we come back onto the earth plane with a valve that's put over us, so that we don't know what mistakes we've made. So we could go around in this continual loop, going round and round and round and round and round, and getting nowhere. It doesn't make sense, and I don't like that phrase, it doesn't make sense, because some things are correct that don't make sense. But in this case, that absolutely doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So there doesn't seem to be much point. It's like this. As a child, if you make a mistake or an error, you do something wrong, your parents will give you instruction that this isn't acceptable. You can't do things like this. And you go away and you learn from that lesson, and you sometimes make the same mistake where you're told again, or you learn from that lesson and you don't make the mistake. But you have a reference point. So when we come to the earth plane, we have no reference point. We also have to take into consideration life contracts. Did the person, for whatever reason, come down onto the earth plane to behave in a certain way as part of the divine plan? I refer to once again Judas, who he had to, the soul that entered a body that was created from the spirit world to become Judas, had to fulfill betraying Christ in order for the legacy of Christ to be unfolded. Without that betrayal, there would be no legacy. So it had to happen in much the same way as Jean tells us in another message about the soul, which I think we'll talk about next in another show, because it's quite complex. But the soul chose that part of it would enter into a body that was prepared from the spirit world to accept that particle of the soul to become the person known as Jeanne d'Arc, to fulfill a mission. Jeanne knew at a very early age pretty much what her mission was. She was fortunate in that respect. Many of us don't know what our mission is. But she also tells us that her adversaries, Cauchon, Midi, Loisieux, all those that were absolutely against her, had to agree to come and do this in order for the legacy of Jeanne d'Arc to have been fulfilled. Otherwise, the outcome would have been completely different. There'd be no legacy of Jeanne d'Arc, and therefore history would have changed the course of events. So these are all very, very big subjects. So I don't think we can get all the answers here today in this short space of time. Absolutely, we can't get anywhere near it because there's so many things to consider. Let's just look at Jeanne for one moment. According to our logic on karma, Jeanne, according to some commentators, would be spending the rest of her eternal life every day in pain and suffering because of all the pain and suffering she caused on the earth plane, responsible for all the deaths of many people. This is what we are told. Yet, you know, now that she is a saint, created a saint by the very people that actually condemned her, it seems to me that she doesn't have to suffer that fate. Let's say that Hitler would, or Judas would, or Pol Pot, or many of the others would, because of the suffering they've caused. Now, obviously, I am a great admire and respect Jeanne d'Arc, and I don't believe anyway that she's spending the rest of her days in this eternal suffering. Again, what sort of omnipotent power force would allow this to happen? So I think very few commentators actually talk about karma in, a good thing. Well, that person done a lot of good stuff, so this is his karma, this is her karma, great reward for all the good work that this person's done. No, I think generally it's more like what George Carlin, if any of you have seen the great comedian George Carlin, where he talks about there's this invisible man in the sky, and he's got this book, and he takes account of everything you do, and for every bad thing you do, and if you're very bad, he'll send you to a place for fire and brimstone and horror and hatred and darkness, but he loves you. This is one of the great George Carlin jokes, but I think he sums it up all very well. So anyway, look, what we do is I'm going to read you a little excerpt from the channeled message about karma. Once again, I would say pop onto our YouTube channel, and in the description there should be a box that says channeled messages, and that'll take you straight to the channeled messages, and there you'll see a list of them all. And once again, if you do like what we're doing here, consider joining our Telegram group. There's the link to the Telegram group just down there, and join in and be around inspirational people. So I'll just read you now this short little excerpt about karma from the channeled message by Jeanne about karma, and it's as follows. You should view karma as your own flow of life, ebbing and flowing within you, as part of you, with every breath, thought, deed, action, or inaction. It is not outside of you. How can it be? Everything is from within the self. It is you. It is your vibration. Everything that happens to you is because of you, and that includes any foreign vibration you choose to allow into your field. I refer to even those who wish to do evil upon you, those who have fallen from a state of grace, rather than those who came to the earth plane to fulfill an agreement, such as my earthly adversaries. Your ancestors' vibrations are not you. They are not your vibration, or karma, as you refer to it. Only with your own permission can a vibration be inherited and participate in your life. Did you agree to inherit before you came to the earth plane? It can only be so with your permission. There is no organ or cell in your body that has the vibration of an ancestor attached to it. There are some of your own generic memory that has brought forward to your current life. This is how so many can recall a past life. However, it is true that people who through a medical procedure have an organ transplanted into their body will experience some of the vibration of the unfortunate person whose bodily part you possess. And finally, she reminds us, karma is not a scorecard, marking down good deeds or bad deeds and then presenting you with obstacles or a fast track on your life's journey, or even in a life review for when you return home. Karma is a guide to help you along life's journey without judgment. Karma is purely a vibrational match to your thoughts, words and deeds. So that's an excerpt from the channeled message about karma. I think there's one important thing we can take there. We believe that we inherit some of the vibrations, some of the feelings, some of the thoughts, and some of the karma of our loved ones. And Jean clearly states here we don't. It's not automatic. You inherit it if you agree to accept it. And so on the earth plane, if you're struggling with a health issue that is, say, a genetic health issue from your family, you don't have to own that. You don't have to accept it, just like you don't have to own the bodily imbalance. Too many people own the disease that they've got. You don't have to own it. You don't have to own any genetic inheritance that you believe that you have inherited, because if you, whether you have or not, if you believe you've inherited it, then it will at some point attach itself to you. So we must think very clearly about where it is where we're going. And I think also there was another point here. Did you agree to inherit before you come to the earth plane? It is possible that you agree to that, but it's also possible to end that part of that contract early, providing it doesn't affect anyone else too much that throws them off their projection. But if you've learned the lesson, as they say, if you feel that you've gained enough knowledge, which is probably a better way of putting it, then you don't have to continue with it. It's people see this karma as too black and white. It really isn't that at all. In fact, the whole process of life is not black and white. It's very mixed. There's too much influences from other people in our life that prevent us from achieving what we want to achieve, unless we are someone like Jean, who's quite frankly quite mule-headed, and just did exactly what she wanted to do. The difference is she did it with love, and not for selfish reasons. Jesus, how could you do what she did for selfish reasons? It's not possible. So there we are. That's I think we can wrap it up here. 23 minutes on karma. If you're watching this show somewhere in the future, please feel free to comment. And if you've got anything you want to say to me, you can send me a private message and I'll get back to you as quick as I possibly can. There's our Telegram channel if you want to join us. If not, I'll be back. Well, I'll be back this evening actually, but in Australia you'll be fast asleep there. I'll be back this evening repeating this show for the European audience. So in the meantime, this is Mike Cavalli signing off with our beloved Jean, and I shall see you all next time. Bye bye for now.